A single man walking down the street without a wedding ring or children is often judged by society as incomplete or lacking direction. In reality, this solitary figure may have unlocked a profound sense of personal liberty that intimidates the average person who remains bound by conventional social obligations. The 19th century philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer lived a solitary life in Frankfurt without a spouse or offspring. People frequently pitied his apparent isolation, failing to grasp that his lifestyle was not a failure of connection, but rather a deliberate choice rooted in philosophical clarity. Schopenhauer identified the primary driver of human activity as the will to life, an unconscious biological force that impels individuals to mate and build families. This underlying drive rewards people with chemical incentives like dopamine and oxytocin, masking basic species survival as personal fulfillment. Conventional male development typically follows an expected sequence involving romance, domestic partnership, home ownership, and child rearing. By middle age, many individuals find their personal ambitions subordinated to domestic stability, financial mortgages, and the continuous demands of family dependence. Society routinely praises the dedicated family provider, yet this lifestyle effectively channels a person's time, financial resources, and energy toward external entities. The individual who remains independent retains complete ownership over personal schedule, financial assets, and daily decision-making. Human emotional distress increases alongside the multiplication of personal desires and attachments. Family commitments introduce numerous additional channels of potential anxiety, making the individual highly vulnerable to external disruptions, economic dependencies, and social pressures. Institutional structures, including corporate employers and government bodies, generally favor individuals with domestic responsibilities because significant financial obligations reduce personal risk-taking and encourage long-term systemic compliance over individual defiance. Recognizing the biological and cultural pressures toward domesticity enables an individual to make a deliberate choice regarding lifestyle. Opting for autonomy allows a person to avoid participating in automatic generational cycles of desire, hardship, and repetition. Choosing a solitary existence carries clear social costs, as broader society often responds to nonconformity with judgment, pity, or accusations of immaturity. Refusing conventional paths requires considerable psychological fortitude to endure steady cultural disapproval. Arthur Schopenhauer experienced persistent familial and social judgment for rejecting standard professional and domestic expectations. He maintained a quiet, independent existence until his death, prioritizing authentic personal choices over conventional social validation. Unencumbered daily schedules represent a significant structural advantage of independent living. Without domestic duties or childcare requirements, an individual possesses complete control over discretionary time, allowing for deep concentration, intellectual study, and personal reflection. The financial burden of raising children and maintaining a large domestic household requires continuous earning power. The independent individual avoids these substantial expenditures, achieving greater financial flexibility and reduced vulnerability to career dissatisfaction or employment leverage. Psychological stability is enhanced when emotional well-being is not tied to the health, safety, and choices of multiple dependents. Avoiding optional domestic anxieties limits overall vulnerability to external circumstances beyond one's direct control. The concept of personal legacy through descendants is often driven by an underlying fear of mortality. Biological descendants inevitably become distinct individuals with separate lives, rarely preserving the specific memories or values of prior generations over extended spans of time. Meaning is a personal construct rather than an inherent quality reserved exclusively for domestic life. Purpose can be cultivated through specialized crafts, artistic creation, rigorous intellectual inquiry, broad travel, and meaningful social connections outside the nuclear family unit. Throughout history, numerous influential thinkers, artists, and innovators pursued their work without raising families, including Isaac Newton, Immanuel Kant, and Ludwig van Beethoven. Their enduring contributions to human knowledge and culture represent a distinct form of historical impact. Domestic partnerships frequently demand ongoing compromise and personal modification to maintain household harmony. Over extended periods, these continuous adjustments can distance an individual from their original interests, personal quirks, and core sense of identity. Examining conventional social expectations allows individuals to evaluate whether traditional milestones align with their authentic values. Choosing an independent path enables a person to direct their own life deliberately, exercising personal sovereignty over their time, resources, and choices.